With inflation, rising wages, and higher food costs, it's more important than ever to find ways to make more money for your restaurant. So in this video, I'll be covering the best strategies to manage your food costs, get more delivery orders, and grow your revenue no matter what situation you're facing. First, let's dive into how to calculate food costs to increase your profits.
If you ask the most successful restaurant owners, what's the most important costs to watch in the restaurant? They will all tell you the same: food cost, because it can be the difference between super profitable and bankrupt. Which is why in this video, we're going to cover how to calculate food cost and the 3 secrets to maximizing profit using food cost. We'll start with the hidden benefits of knowing food costs, and then get into how to calculate it and talk about the different food cost strategies that you can use to increase profit and save over time. So you might be wondering, why are food costs so important? Because as you may have heard, restaurant industry profit margins are small. When you add the 3 major types of costs up, food costs, labor costs, and rent/overhead costs, that usually ends up making up 90% of revenue, leaving just 10% profit margins in the best case. But when you use the strategies we're going to cover to keep food costs low, you can double or even triple your profits, like the examples I'm going to share with you in this video. That's the benefit of calculating your food costs. Once you know the food costs of each item, you can strategize your menu to give you 200% or 300% more profit with the exact same amount of sales. It also lets you run proper promotions like buy one, get one deals and loyalty programs without accidentally losing thousands of dollars by giving away items for free where it doesn't make sense. So let's get into how to calculate food cost before we discuss the strategies for doubling profits using food costs. Here's the easy formula. Take how much you spend on food in a period, and then you divide it by the sales from the food you sold in that same period. So here's the formula. Purchases divided by sales equals food costs. Then you multiply that food cost by 100 to get a percentage. As an example, let's say you purchased $2,500 in food this week and sold $10,000 worth of food. You would take the $2,500, divided by 10,000, which gives you 0.25, and then you multiply that by 100 to get 25% food cost percentage. You might be wondering, is there a more accurate way to calculate food costs? Should I keep an inventory system running? And in working with thousands of restaurant owners over the years, I can say that the answer is no, unless you're doing more than $5 million in revenue per location, because that is the point at which it might be worth it to have such a precise inventory system. Until you have that big operating team and that type of scale, the juice is not worth the squeeze in calculating food costs, because it requires a huge amount of effort to keep exact inventory in a restaurant. And there's much more impactful ways that you can keep your food costs low without having to spend dozens of hours per month of your precious time on inventory. I can feel you thinking, okay, Adam, now that we've got the food costs calculated the simple way, how do I actually improve my food costs to increase the profitability of my restaurant? I'm going to skip all of the obvious answers like reduce wastage and negotiate good deals with your food distributor, and go right into the 3 secrets that are less obvious but that all of the top restaurant operators have in common to achieve profits that triple the usual restaurant. Starting with secret number 1, designing your guest experience around the moneymakers. The most profitable restaurants in the world have all designed their guest experience to push appetizers, beverages, and desserts, because that's where the real money is made in restaurants. Here's the math behind why. Entrees have a high food cost because they often include expensive ingredients like meats and cheeses. This is especially true lately with the supply chain issues going on and inflation. The prices of meats, cheese, and eggs have gotten absolutely absurd. That means that it's more important than ever to maximize profitability in this way. McDonald's is the perfect example that we all know well. On the surface, McDonald's seems like a burger restaurant, but if you look at their numbers, most of their profit actually comes from fries, soft drinks, and McCafe coffee, not from burgers. Their whole guest experience is secretly designed to get guests to buy those other items while they're buying the burger. They use their burgers to lure people in with great value. It's just $5 for a Big Mac. What a great deal. When you calculate the food costs on the Big Mac though, beef, American cheese, sesame seed bun, it ends up having a high food cost. Even in the quantities they're buying in, it's $2, which is 40% food cost on that dish, and means they just make $3 in gross profit for that Big Mac. Because they know that even though they won't have much profit on the Big Mac, that when people order fries and a soft drink and maybe a dessert, those items have crazy profit margins because they have such a low food cost. When they add fries to that order, it might just seem like $2.50 in sales, but those fries are made of the cheapest possible ingredients: potatoes, vegetable oil, and salt. That means they carry a food cost of just 25 cents or 10%. That leaves $2.25 in gross profit for the fries they sell with that burger, which means that their profit just doubled just by adding the fries. We haven't included their dessert yet, their beverage, or any of these other add-on items. They tend to keep food costs on those appetizers, beverages, and desserts under 10%, which means that whenever a guest adds them to their order, they're doubling or tripling their profitability on that transaction. What's so genius about this model is that McDonald's has already spent the money to acquire that customer and to get them in the dining room. So when they're adding on those items, there's no additional labor cost or marketing cost or any other costs associated. It's pure profit. So you might be thinking, Adam, that's great for McDonald's, but my restaurant is higher end. I don't think I can use that type of strategy without cheapening my brand, which is why this next example is so important. Think back to the most successful fancy steak restaurant you've been to. What are their entrees? Usually their entrees are steak and fish. Even though they have a high menu price for those items, the food cost is through the roof too. Fresh fish has serious spoilage and high food costs associated, and the same thing is true of their steak, which means that the food cost on those items is going to average 40% to 60%, way too high to be very profitable when you combine that with the labor cost of preparing those dishes and all of the other overhead expenses involved in operating a steak restaurant. That's why their real money is made almost always on the wine menu. Their entire experience and business model is designed around it. Here's what I mean. It starts from when you actually sit down at the table before anybody has spoken to you. You'll notice that they have empty wine glasses for you to begin the association and upselling process with that are just waiting to be filled at your table. Then, when you're handed the menu, they almost always give you two different menus. One is the food menu, and one is the alcohol menu. But they don't call it the alcohol menu. They call it the wine menu. Again, subtly pressuring people to order wine. Then when the server comes up to your table, they usually don't say, "What can I get you to drink?" They say red or white, which again creates a forced choice to order wine. When restaurants sell wine by the glass, they're typically selling it for 5 times how much it cost them to buy, which means a 20% implied food cost. That $15 average glass of wine cost them $3 to buy wholesale, leaving $12 in profit for them. And there's very little labor cost associated with pouring a glass of wine, so it's almost all pure profit for them, especially when you account for the average wine drinker enjoying 2 glasses over the course of their typical 2-hour meal. That's an extra $24 in profit. If we compare that to the math behind steak, the average steak at one of those places is $40. That's going to have a 50% food cost with steak prices lately, which means it's less profitable than the wine before we even account for the high labor cost of preparing the steak and the fact that people are only going to order one. So the steak is the low margin item designed to bring people in for the real moneymaker, the wine. Importantly, these restaurants create an experience where people have pressure to order appetizers and then desserts. For appetizers, after you've ordered that wine, they always ask you, what would you like to start, before they come back for your entree order. This is so that everybody at the table orders one of the items from their appetizer menus, which again have been designed to have low food costs, high margin. And then after you've ordered your entree, which is typically that steak, they make it impossible to not order dessert. They give you the menu and they say, our chocolate cake is really famous. I highly recommend it. So that people are again adding on those items which have a low food cost. The entire experience is designed around them because they know that if they can sell one of those items, they have the same cost on that customer and the same cost to serve them, so it's almost pure profit. So how do you make sure your menu has these money makers built in? I'm about to share that in Secret 2. But before I do, if you've enjoyed this video so far and you want to continue learning about how to increase your sales and profits, then click subscribe below because I post multiple new videos per month on exactly that. Being subscribed means that you'll never miss those learnings. Anyway, back to Secret 2. Secret 2 is using premium pricing strategically with food costs. Because without using premium pricing strategically, it's almost impossible to achieve healthy food costs and profits. To do that, you start by figuring out the food cost for every dish on your menu. That means adding up the cost of the ingredients to make each item. Then, as a rough guidance, you should never exceed these food cost rules per category type. On appetizers, you try to average 10% in food costs and never have a food cost over 20%. On entrees, you try to average 25% and never have a food cost above 40%. Occasionally, you might need an entree that has a 40% to 50% food cost, like that fancy steak, but it should be the exception of your entrees, not the rule. Then on beverages, you try to average a 15% food cost. To achieve those rules as an independent restaurant, it almost always requires charging premium prices. Don't ever try to compete with McDonald's or Chipotle or Sweetgreen on their pricing, because there's no way to win that contest as an independent restaurant. They spend billions of dollars a year in food, which means they get the lowest possible price, and it would be a race to the bottom to try and match their prices. So what I recommend instead is being proudly premium, charging more for your high quality product and service. I recommend having a 3x pricing strategy on entrees and a few 10x pricing dishes that you can push hard as part of your experience. Those 10x dishes that have a price 10 times their food cost become crazy adds to your profitability and drop your food costs on average pretty massively. Charging premium prices can feel scary at first, but I think you'll be surprised at how people end up valuing your food more when there's a higher price associated. It makes them think of it as a higher quality experience versus what they get from the cheap chains. A great example of a 10x food cost item would be onion rings. Because if you think about the food cost behind onion rings, it's literally onions and oil. So while they're listed on the menu for an average of $8, they cost less than 40 cents to make, which means a 5% food cost. So when you're able to add those onion rings to an order for $8 and they cost you 40 cents to make, you've just pocketed $7.60 in pure profitability with no additional labor cost or overhead cost, and that is what ends up making your restaurant so profitable. There's been interesting research done on how premium pricing changes how guests think about products. And the research was actually done in the wine industry, where to create an experiment to see how people reacted to higher prices, researchers bought a $100 bottle of wine and a $2 bottle of wine. They switched the contents of each bottle of wine. Then they invited people in to do a taste test, where they didn't tell them anything, but they let them drink from the $2 bottle of wine and they let them drink from the $100 bottle of wine, not knowing that they'd been switched. What happened is when people tasted the $2 wine in the $100 bottle, they rated it higher across the board as the $100 wine in the $2 bottle. They couldn't actually tell the difference, and so they were using the association they had with the higher price as being higher quality. In the same way, if they're comparing your burger, which costs $14, to the $5 Big Mac, even if you're using the exact same ingredients, most people are going to rate your $14 burger higher in terms of quality because they know that it costs more money. Create premium pricing for a premium perception. Now that you've learned in Secret 2 the power of premium pricing, it's worth also talking about Secret 3, proper promotions. What you do when you need to increase sales using promotions. Before you know your food costs on each item, it's dangerous to do promotions like buy one, get one, or a loyalty program where you're giving away free food, because it can lead to costing yourself thousands of dollars on those promotions that are supposed to bring in extra profits. But once you know those food costs, you can be strategic about how you run promotions. And there's 3 big types of promotions that I see work great once you've got those food costs locked. Type 1 is buy one, get one free deals. Those deals work great for driving sales on slow days or for surging sales on highly popular low food cost items. It's key to only do it with items that have a food cost of 20% or less. So that means that even if you give one away, you're still at the high end of the healthy range of food costs, because then you're approaching 40%. Great items for that buy one, get one are entrees with low food costs, like noodles or bean cheese burritos or other items that aren't going to have that high meat cost associated. Anyway, the other type of proper promotions, which work great once you've calculated your food costs, is the guest loyalty system. That's type 2. There's a reason almost all of the most successful restaurant corporations in the world have a points-based loyalty system, which rewards people with points for spending more money with that restaurant. That reason is that it works for increasing sales and customer frequency by rewarding people for spending money with you. But loyalty systems can become massive money losers if you're giving away too many items with a high food cost. So where food costs become a superpower here is making sure that the loyalty system only gives away the items with those low food costs to make guests feel like they're getting a lot of value without making the restaurant pay a lot of cost. Here's the magical math behind those systems. Let's use a low-cost appetizer like onion rings as an example here. When a guest gets a free order of onion rings through that loyalty system, it feels to that guest like great value because the onion rings are $8 on the menu and they just got them for ordering. That's awesome. But where it's magic for the restaurant is that those onion rings have a 5% food cost or cost the restaurant 40 cents to make. That guest feels so rewarded and special, like they've gotten $8 worth of value. So they're more loyal and they see your restaurant as a better value purchase. This can also save money in an unexpected way by giving guests a clear reason to order directly from your restaurant's website or app instead of DoorDash or Uber Eats. When guests feel like they get better value through all of the free items you give them, it becomes an easier decision to order from your website or your app each time. In fact, that's what the technology that I've designed over the past 6 years does. It's called Owner.com, and it lets you design your online experience to push those high margin, low food cost items and have your own points-based loyalty system so that you can reward guests for ordering frequently from you, all integrated with your POS. If you want to see more details on how that system increases restaurant sales, I'd recommend checking it out at Owner.com. By the way, as you're designing your guest experience around pushing these high profit items, if you would find it helpful to have me take a look at your menu and give you ideas based on what I've seen work best across thousands of restaurants, specifically for your cuisine type, pointing out the dishes that tend to sell best, that have a low food costs, and how to promote those dishes, then just comment your restaurant name and the city it's in down below. I'll take a look at your online menu and give you ideas based on what I've seen work best for your cuisine type.
Next, I'll show you how to get more online orders and increase sales for your restaurant without losing all of your profits to third-party delivery fees.
In this video, we're going to cover how restaurants can use Uber Eats and DoorDash to get dozens of new customers every month, but without having to pay the ridiculous 30% fees. I'll be showing you the real numbers behind real restaurants' income and profitability, and we'll also be calling out the huge mistakes to avoid that I often see destroying restaurants' profits. Second, we're going to talk about how you can set your restaurant up on the delivery apps to get the most new customers from them possible. Third, we're going to talk about how the most profitable independent restaurants are using delivery apps to drive new customer discovery, but avoid paying the commissions after they get those new customers. I hear a lot of restaurant owners say that the delivery apps are a necessary evil because they will lose customers without them, but it doesn't have to be that way long term. So let's dive right into it, starting with part 1, setting the delivery apps to drive new customer discovery, but without losing profitability. This video was actually inspired by my friend Mike and his crazy roller coaster experience with the delivery apps. Mike owns a pizzeria, which is one of the top performers on Uber Eats in his city. To give you an idea of the volume he was doing, he was over $40,000 a month from Uber Eats alone. But every month when he would get his numbers back from his bookkeeper, he wasn't making a profit on those sales because the 30% fee that they were taking was wiping it out. When he factored in food cost, which was rising super quickly with inflation and supply chain issues, as well as the labor cost and overhead in those orders and the promotions and other costs, he hated giving 30% of every order in this industry where profit margins average 10% and losing all of his customer info, not even knowing their names anymore through Uber Eats. I know what you're probably thinking. That's why Mike should increase menu prices on the delivery apps. The thing is, Mike was already doing that. He had already increased menu prices by 15% on the delivery apps. But profit margins in independent restaurants average 10% at most. So it doesn't take a math whiz to see that if restaurant delivery apps are charging Mike 30%, he's not going to be profitable even if he's raising prices by 15%. So Mike told his account manager that he was canceling unless he could get a better rate. And after after weeks of back and forth negotiation, he got his rate down from 30% to 15%. Mike was so happy at first. He did the math and he saw that this was going to save him over $5,000 per month because he was doing over $40,000 per month in volume. But then the day of the rate switch came, and overnight, Mike saw his volume drop from $10,000 per week to $4,000 per week. Mike was terrified. Eventually, he called back his account manager to find out what happened. And he learned that when you negotiate a lower rate with the delivery apps, they start making your restaurant very difficult to find in the app. Unless somebody perfectly types in your restaurant name in the search tab, it just doesn't show up. Instead, in the home screen or category where people are used to ordering from you, they list all of your competitors where you used to be. So it ends up resulting in losing all of those customers to direct competitors. The reason why is clear. If you were a delivery app, would you send customers to the pizzeria where you make 30% of every order or 15% of every order? Well, obviously 30%. So if there's 10 pizzerias to choose from in your city and the others are willing to give them 30%, but you're only willing to give them 15%, they're going to send the people who would order from you to all of your competitors. So that's the first mistake to avoid: negotiating the lowest possible commission. It sounds good in theory, but the goal with the delivery apps should not be to turn a huge profit on each of those orders. From the thousands of independent restaurants I've seen on the apps now, I can confirm that maximizing profit on the orders is impossible. Instead of making as much profit as possible on the apps, what I've seen smart restaurant owners do is use them to build up their own direct business and grow their brand awareness locally. That is where the real money is made. They use the apps to get new customers that order directly from them every time in a way that they don't have to pay any commission on. So what I've seen work best instead is paying the full 30% to get the most possible new customers. Mike eventually started doing that, and over 6 months built up his transactions on third-party apps back to over $10,000 per week. But now he has a smart system in place that makes sure he gets a small profit on those orders while growing his direct takeout and delivery business commission-free. He's now doing another $15,000 per week through his website. So let's first focus on how restaurants can set themselves up to turn a profit on new customer discovery orders on the delivery apps, even while they're paying 30% commission. The first mistake to avoid is the try with discount promotions. These are often 20% off first order promotions or offering customers free delivery fees. They do work at increasing order volume and they sound good in theory, but the problem is that they destroy profitability because they not only cost the restaurant the 20% discount where they're already paying a 30% commission, but there's often an extra fee on top of that costs $1 per order to $5 per order for the restaurant. From what I've seen in many restaurants at this point, those types of deals also attract a less valuable customer who's just cheap and ordering for the deal. Speaking of deals to avoid, that brings us to the next mistake that restaurant owners make that kill profits, and that is doing item promotions like buy one get one free with entree dishes. Entrees tend to be meat-based and difficult to make, which means that they're going to have high food costs and labor costs associated. Again, it sounds good in theory to get customers to try your signature steak with a buy one get one because they'll probably love it and want to reorder. But this ends up driving the food costs on that order way up, and it makes it way less profitable for the restaurant. Instead, I recommend doing buy one get one or free item promotions with low food cost dishes by finding the items on your menu that are favorites but that have super low food costs and offering those at discounts or in buy one get one deals. In a Mexican restaurant like Talkin' Tacos, those are the churros or the margarita that might be listed on the menu for $7 or $9, but literally have a food cost of under 50 cents. This is the best promotion you can offer for free because it has a very high perceived value to the customer while costing the restaurant little in reality. And the word free is the most powerful word in marketing. Speaking of using the low food cost, high profit margin items, there's one more way to use them that really boosts profitability. I'll give you a hint. It's the secret behind McDonald's profitability and many other top performing restaurant brands. But before we get there, if you've enjoyed this video so far and you want to see more videos like it, then click that subscribe button down below. It's completely free to do and we'll send you an email anytime new videos come out to make sure you don't miss out the latest in growing a restaurant. Anyway, back to the McDonald's inspired tip to increase profitability that you can actually use on the delivery apps. When you order a Big Mac from McDonald's, what do they immediately ask you next? Would you like fries with that? And then if you say no to the fries, would you like a Coke with that? They're constantly upselling. So setting up the delivery apps to do the same, asking guests if they want low food cost items with every entree can be absolutely huge for profitability. You can set them up to have those dishes upsold as modifiers on every entree dish that you're you're selling on the third-party apps. To do this, you go into your menu builder on the delivery app platform that you're using, and you go to the entrees category. Then you click into the new modifier button, and you make it optional with phrases like select your dessert and select your beverage. Those phrases encourage them to select items with the highest profit margin. They're optional upsells to be clear, but as a good benchmark, you should see over 20% of entrees getting appetizers, beverages, and desserts added to them. This can literally double the profitability on those transactions because it lowers the average food cost and it helps offset that 30% fee that you're paying on the sale to actually make it profitable. On this note, actually, there's data I saw that proves that appetizers, beverages, and desserts with quality photos get added to carts over 50% more often. A mistake I see a lot of independent restaurants making is only having photos of the signature entrees. They're missing quality images of the highest profit margin items, those appetizers, beverages, and desserts. And as a result, those get ordered way less and it hurts profitability. This decreases the rate of people adding those super profitable items during the upsell, and it also hurts the online ordering profits. So if you haven't already invested in a quality food photographer to shoot your entire menu, including beverages and desserts, I highly recommend it. They often charge less than $1,000, and you can make that back in less than a month from the sales and profit increases you see from the lift in online upsells alone. Not to mention the huge boost that restaurants often see in overall online sales from higher conversion rates. By the way, if you want me to check out how your restaurant is set up today on the third-party apps and give you advice on how you can improve it from here, you can comment your restaurant name down below and the city it's in. I'll check how it's currently listed on DoorDash and Uber Eats and Grubhub and share the opportunities you have for improvement. In terms of menu layout, in terms of upselling, and in terms of photography, there's always things to improve. As you can tell, I'm super passionate about helping restaurant owners grow, so I'm happy to give you free advice on how to take things to the next level. Oh, and there's one more thing to cover, and that is optimizing the timing of orders. A huge mistake that many restaurants who are new to online ordering make is they set their third-party delivery hours to be exactly the same as their restaurant hours. But the problem is that there's certain times when the restaurant is backed up and slammed as it is. So adding more orders with online ordering that isn't as profitable creates chaos, and it makes the guests that you have the highest profit margin on, the ones in the dining room, wait longer. So if there are times like this in your restaurant where things are way too busy, I recommend not trying to get new online ordering customers during those hours. You can turn off the delivery apps during those times. They're not worth giving your direct customers a worse experience for, and it's not worth giving them longer wait times and creating chaos in your kitchen. The customers who really want your food will order from your website when you do this, or give you a call instead, where you can better control flow, set expectations on timing, and keep your profit margin on those transactions as high as possible. That brings us to part 2 of 3. How to use delivery apps advertising to get new customers while actually keeping your profitability on every order. So that brings us to the best paid promotions that you can run. The first is called a sponsored listing, and both DoorDash and Uber Eats allow them. This form of advertising allows you to show up on the home screens of the apps, but when the customers in your city are actually browsing them. The best part though is you can set the maximum amount you're willing to pay per order, and the best way to set it is based on your profit margins. I'll describe that in a moment. After you set that maximum amount you're willing to pay per order, the system automatically bids for you until the maximum amount you've set per order is hit, to make sure that all of the orders you buy are at least break even. The way the system works is that the highest exposure at the top goes to the highest bidder. I recommend setting it up so that no more than 10% of your average order delivery size is being bid, to make sure that you at least break even on those orders. Remember, our goal with these third-party delivery orders isn't to profit on the first one. It's to get new customers for free, or maybe at a small profit, while increasing our restaurant's popularity. The real money is made once we get them ordering directly from us. The average order delivery size across the industry is $50. Delivery orders on average are much larger transactions than the ones that happen in the 4 walls of our restaurants, because people often order for multiple people with the delivery orders, and they're eating with their eyes as they're ordering, so they build the cart online much more full than they would in person. If we do the math on that, average profit margins when paying 30% of each order are going to be about 5%, or $2.50 on the typical $50 order. So if if you bid a maximum of $2.50 on that sponsored listing, it will make sure that all of the customers that you get are at least break even for you. But oftentimes they're better than break even. They're profitable because you won't always be paying whatever your highest bid is, especially in times where there aren't a lot of competitive bidders, which right now there actually aren't because a lot of restaurants don't know about this. This is a fairly new feature that they don't use yet, so you can often buy new customer orders for less than $1 each. Now that we've covered sponsored listings, let's talk about the other part of advertising on the delivery apps, using their paid promotions feature. So here's the best process that I've seen for surging online ordering volume using that type of promotion. First, we start by identifying the 3 most popular items on our menu with a food cost of under 10% of whatever it's listed for. These are often appetizers, beverages, and desserts. Then we test a buy one get one free offer on each of those. People respond super well to the word free, and it feels like they're getting an amazing deal when they get a 6. The beauty of this though is that the profit margin on these items is super high. So the profit margin from the first one they're buying actually covers the second one and some, and it still leaves profitability. The other major type of promotion these apps allow is a free delivery promotion. Free delivery promotions let you pay $5 per order to give you that customer completely free delivery on their first order. This sounds good in theory, but in my experience, they don't work very well if your goal is to grow your direct online ordering business. Here's why. They actually do increase online ordering volume, and they do it well, but that online ordering volume tends to stay on the delivery apps and not order directly from you. Because the people who use the free delivery promotion are people that are subscribed to Dash Pass or Uber One or Grubhub Plus, meaning that they're paying $10 per month to be loyal to one of the delivery apps. If they're paying $120 per year for cheaper delivery on the apps, do we think they'll be easy to convert to using our own website or apps instead of the one that they're paying $120 per year from? Probably not. Also, the free delivery offer, which costs the restaurant $5 flat in addition to the 30% they pay, completely wipes out their profit margin. It's over 40% of the transaction at that point, in this industry where profit margins average under 5%. That's really hard to make profitable. Speaking of converting customers into your own direct system, that's actually the third part of this video. Part 3. How to get customers to order directly from our website or app instead of the delivery apps. In this part of the video, we're going to be covering how restaurants convert 30% commission delivery orders into 0% commission delivery orders. It doesn't require having your own delivery drivers for it to work. And I've seen thousands of independent restaurants successfully pull it off at this point. What made me realize this was possible was seeing how my friends Mo and Omar did it, the owners of Talkin' Tacos. When I first met them 3 years ago, they were doing over $30,000 a month on Uber Eats and less than $3,000 per month from their website. And they, like many restaurant owners, were fed up with the delivery apps taking 30% of every order and all of the customer information, not even sharing their names with them anymore. It was costing them over $6,000 per month and wiping out a serious part of their profits. They had an online ordering link through their website at the time, but very few people were using it compared to the amount of third-party orders they were getting. So they came to me for help. And over the past 3 years, I've seen them go from $3,000 per month through their website to now doing over $150,000 per month through their website and app. That's a 50x increase. For those of you that are new to this business, it's possible for restaurants to offer online ordering with delivery through their own website, but without paying ridiculous 30% commission. But the problem I've seen a lot of restaurant owners face once they have direct online ordering is that most of their orders still go through the delivery apps instead of going through their website. Here's how we solved that problem for Talkin' Tacos. We started by figuring out why customers were ordering from Uber Eats instead of through their website. So we started interviewing their customers and asking them, where do you guys order Talkin' Tacos? And why do you order from that platform? The results were super interesting. We realized that there were 3 major reasons that decide where guests order from. The number 1 reason that people use to determine where they order is convenience. The number 2 reason is value. And the number 3 reason is marketing. And at the time, Talkin' Tacos was losing to Uber Eats on each of those things before they set up the system. Because if you think about it, on convenience, it was way more convenient to order from the Uber Eats app than through their website. Because on the Uber Eats app, people could just tap their home screen, the app with Uber Eats, and then tap Talkin' Tacos and reorder it in just a few taps with all of their information saved, versus going through the 5-minute process of ordering on their website, of first Googling the restaurant and then clicking view website and then clicking order now and then typing in their information and signing in each time and then building their order from scratch. So they were losing to Uber Eats on convenience. On value, a lot of people have the Uber One Pass for cheaper delivery via Uber Eats. So they saw the savings that Uber One Pass provided and thought that that was way better value than ordering from Talkin' Tacos directly. The restaurant at the time didn't have anything in place to win on value. So they were losing to Uber Eats on that too. And then on marketing, when you order from a restaurant on Uber Eats, what happens over the next few days and weeks? If you've noticed, they send you tons of emails and push notifications and even text message notifications to remind you to reorder from that restaurant when the best time for it comes, based on where you've ordered in the past. They're constantly showing you pictures of what you order and then notifying you that you ordered it last time and that you can reorder in one tap to make it as effortless as possible. So to get people to order directly from our restaurant instead of on third-party apps, we need to make it a better experience than they get from the delivery apps in terms of convenience. And we also need to win on value and marketing. So let's start with the convenience part. How do we make it more convenient to order from our restaurant directly than it is to order from the delivery apps? What I've seen work best for winning on convenience is the restaurant having its own branded mobile app to order from. I've seen this increase online sales by 20% instantly, and then literally make it 3 times as easy to convert customers from those delivery apps. Why does it work? Because if you think about it, a huge part of what makes the delivery apps so convenient is the ability to tap a button on your home screen, tap another button to reorder your go-to order, and then 30 seconds later, being through the checkout process with your food already on the way because all of your info is stored. I knew Domino's and Chick-fil-A and Texas Roadhouse and many of the other top performing brands, in fact, all of the top 50 had gotten their own apps successfully. But I would have never thought that this would work for independent restaurants until I saw it in action with my friend Antoinette. Antoinette owns Ottavio's Italian restaurant in Lakeside, California, and she begged me to make her an app for years. I thought it was a bad idea because I didn't think anybody would install the app for a single location mom and pop Italian restaurant. She would constantly tell me, Adam, every time I go to the city, I order from the Starbucks app and it's the most convenient thing. We need that for Ottavio's. So we built it for her finally as a test, and holy moly, the results she saw were actually insane. Within 30 days, over half of her online ordering customers had installed it and were using it as the go-to way to order from Ottavio's. We saw them ordering at double the frequency with a slightly higher check size than she was getting in the kitchen, meaning that the value of her takeout orders were literally doubled. She went from doing $10,000 a month through her website before Owner to now clearing $24,000 a month from her website. And a huge part of that gain is due to her app. Mo from Talkin' Tacos has also built his own app. In less than 6 months on the App Store, it has over 4,000 installs from his customers. Both Mo and Antoinette used our platform to get their own app, and the results speak for themselves. The key was to make it super simple to order again and again from them, because most independent restaurants' online ordering volume is not from new customers. It's from regulars who order the same thing again and again and are willing to install an app that they order from a few times a month, especially if it will save them time and money. So when they got their own app, it was no longer such a hassle for customers to order directly from the restaurant. They had a button on their home screen to tap, and they could do it in seconds instead of minutes, thanks to all of their info being stored and having easy access to Google Pay and Apple Pay. So now that we've covered how to be at least as good as the delivery apps on convenience and even better for regulars, how do we actually beat them on the other 2 parts of value and marketing? Let's start with value. This one is actually the easiest because everybody knows how expensive it is to order on the delivery apps. Between the convenience fee and the service fee and the delivery fee and the menu markups, the guest is paying 21% more on average versus if they order directly from that restaurant. That means $10 more on a $50 order, and it's often even more than that. But here's the key. The guest doesn't yet know how much they can save by ordering directly from the restaurant's website, because many restaurants don't actually make it clear on their website or on their online ordering system or on their email marketing. So what we need to do is educate the guests on the savings in fees when they order directly from our restaurant website. If you get specific with telling guests how much they're saving on each order, then they start to deeply appreciate it and realize that they should just order directly from that restaurant every time. That's what we do with Talkin' Tacos. On our website, we tell them that we can save on third-party delivery fees in ordering from the website or the app. And then after we educate them on the fees we can save them, there's another thing we can do, do, which works extremely well. The gamified loyalty program. What do the top 50 restaurant brands in the world have in common? Domino's and Chick-fil-A and Texas Roadhouse and all of the other top restaurant brands in the US, literally all 50. They all have a loyalty program, which gives you free stuff the more money you spend. Just like a game. This is the key to getting people to order directly from your brand, whether it's on your website or your app, just like Mo from Talkin' Tacos did. What they did is they specified their lowest food cost items like agua frescas and churros and salsa and chips, and they let customers get those for free every 2 to 3 orders while thanking them for ordering directly. The churros on the menu are $7. So when customers get them for free every 2 or 3 orders, it feels like amazing value. They got this free $7 item. And here's the genius part. The 40-cent food cost on giving away churros is way less than paying 30% in commission. So it works really well for the restaurant financially. They're very smart about making sure that it's only their low food cost items that are qualifying for their free loyalty program redemptions. And I'd recommend doing the same. Another thing they do to get people to order directly from their websites and their apps is they raise prices on the third-party delivery apps by about 20%, so that the prices are way cheaper on their own direct website and app. This makes it obviously better value. And when you add in the savings on fees for the guest and the free items, it becomes a no-brainer better value to order directly from the Talkin' Tacos website. So now that we've covered convenience and value, we're at the third part that we have to nail in order to be able to win against the third-party apps for customer loyalty. That part is marketing, because it's no secret that these third-party delivery apps literally spend hundreds of millions of dollars per year on getting people to use their apps. Super Bowl commercials, Facebook ads, and many other things. They use email marketing and push notifications and Google SEO to get customers and keep them engaged. So your restaurant needs to compete with that to get people to see the benefits of ordering directly from you and consistently do it. The good news is that if we've nailed setting up the convenience and the value to be better when they order from us, then our marketing gets way easier, because all we have to do is communicate the benefits clearly of ordering directly from us. Those benefits are save money with less fees, earn free food via our loyalty program, support local business by ordering directly from us, save time by ordering faster with all of your details stored. I've even seen some restaurants say they'll give guests priority service for ordering through their website or their app, meaning that they get faster pickup and delivery times versus what they would otherwise have to get on DoorDash or Uber Eats. There's a few ways that you can educate customers on the benefits of doing so. The first way is old school offline marketing, because believe it or not, this still works super well if executed correctly. A great recent example of this is my friend Timmery, the owner of Diner. She put up posters in her windows and table tents educating customers on the benefits of ordering from her directly. This is the best way to do it with offline marketing. You put up collateral all over your dining room that tells people when they're visiting your restaurant why to order directly from you online, so that they think of your website and your app when they're feeling like getting takeout. Another brilliant thing that she does is she puts flyers in every to-go bag that goes out to customers that ordered from the third-party apps or phone calls. And those flyers tell people to order directly from our website or our app. Offline marketing is a key part of this strategy, since there's hundreds of potential online customers that are already offline customers in our dining room every month who would order directly from our restaurant if they could see the benefits for themselves. But there's also ways to educate them online. Mo from Talkin' Tacos does this really well. They tell guests why to order directly from them by actually putting it in their Instagram bio and by putting it in captions in posts at least once per month. One of the things that all of these examples have in common is that they use Owner.com to power the restaurant's online presence, because it can literally do all of these things for the restaurant in one place. Getting a branded app, having a gamified loyalty system that pushes high margin items, doing smart upselling for you. I'm definitely biased on this because I actually started the company, but that is how I know all of their numbers and what works well for each of them. Thousands of restaurants use it, and that is how I learn. And our platform does this really well for restaurants. If you want to check out our platform and get a free demo, you can just type in Owner.com and click the get a free demo button, and somebody from our team will be in touch. Anyway, back to the video. You're probably wondering, Adam, what kind of results do restaurants see when they actually set all this up? In my experience, restaurants can pull over 20% of their third-party orders when they first start doing this, which saves them $1,000 a month in third-party fees right off the bat on average. And then they get 5% to 10% growth every month over time in their direct online ordering system as people become more aware of the benefits of ordering directly from them. A few of the examples we covered in this video, like Antoinette from Otavio's and Timmery from Diner, have more than quadrupled their direct online sales sales using these strategies, and they're now off the third-party apps altogether because they want to be in control of their own destiny in terms of fees, and they want to be in control of their customer relationships. So that brings us to the last part of this video, to share more about why doing these things helps us expand to multiple locations faster. Like how Talkin' Tacos has gone from 1 to 7 locations over the past 3 years of using this system. This is bonus part number 4. How these systems make it easier to expand to multiple locations. The secret is actually in the branded mobile app. Here's why. When customers install the Talkin' Tacos app, it enables location services and push notifications. Location services mean that the owners, Mo and Omar, can see the locations of people that have their app installed and use the locations in marketing. This lets them strategically decide where to put their next location based on where customers tend to be located and spend the most time. It also lets them use their customers' locations in marketing to make it extra effective. This is super powerful because 90% of restaurant push notifications are seen within 15 minutes of sending them. So they instantly get customer attention with relevant offers or promotions. More importantly, when you go to share your restaurant concept with franchisees or investors to expand, you can show them the impressive technology and marketing setup that you have, which is driving you sales and is a huge differentiator for your restaurant business versus the other similar sized restaurants. The other major key to this is the customer info that restaurants using the system get from people ordering directly. On third-party delivery apps, they don't share the customers' names with the restaurant anymore, not to mention their email addresses or phone numbers. So there's no way for restaurant owners to actually use that information in marketing. But when restaurants convert people to order directly from their website or their app, they can then see and use all of their info. That's even if they don't have the app installed. They can see delivery addresses, which helps them place new locations regionally. They can see customers' email addresses, which lets them send automatic email marketing campaigns and what those customers ordered in the past, which they can use in those campaigns to drive up sales by literally thousands of dollars every month if set up correctly.
Next, I'll show you how I helped Ottavio's Italian restaurant use 3 strategies to increase their online sales by $20,000, including how to launch a branded mobile app and gamified loyalty program.
Over the past year, I saw my friend Antoinette, the owner of Ottavio's Italian restaurant, increase her direct online sales by $20,000 per month by getting better at attracting young customers. So in this video, we're going to cover how restaurants can attract more millennials and Gen Z customers through online marketing and technology. When Antoinette first came to me for help, she had the opposite of young customers. Her restaurant, Ottavio's, is based in Lakeside, California, which means that it's right next to a large retirement community with people 70 years and older. Because of her location, many of her customers were 70 years and older, which was okay because those older customers are loyal and had been regulars for years of hers. The problem that she was feeling was that revenue was flat because she'd already reached all of the old people in her community that her brand appealed to. She knew that she needed to appeal to a younger customer to take her brand to the next level. So she came to my company for help, and she implemented a 3-part plan to best appeal to young people online by making sure that she nailed the things that young people care about the most. The first being ultimate convenience. The second being gamified value. And the third, cool. I'll explain what cool means in a moment. But over the past 18 months, she's grown her direct online sales by over $19,000 per month, which continues to grow at an exciting rate today. She's getting dozens of new customers every month from the surrounding towns that are finding her online, which didn't used to happen. The first thing you're wondering is probably, how did she do it? That's what we're going to spend the rest of this video breaking down. That brings us to part 1 of 3, getting more young customers for a restaurant. And that is using the Starbucks success strategy, ultimate convenience through an app. You're probably wondering, what is that supposed to mean? Here's what it means. One of the major reasons Antoinette was struggling before with no young customers was that her previous ordering system was not easy or convenient. It required finding her website, going through the steps of clicking order now on that website, then signing in every time, email, password, and it didn't have one-click ordering or driver tracking like DoorDash does. It's no secret that in a world with DoorDash and Amazon, people have been trained to really care about convenience. We need ordering from a business to be as easy as possible. All people care about it, but young people especially do. So what she did was brilliant. She took a page out of Starbucks' playbook and built her own branded Ottavio's app using the Owner.com platform. Because if you think about where you do your ordering online,
online, almost none of it is through a website. It's through the Amazon app or the DoorDash app or the Starbucks app. They all tend to be app-based experiences. So she created her own Otavio's app to make ordering for regulars ridiculously easy, just like Starbucks. The old way required having to find her website, sign in every time, spend 5 minutes building your order, spend another 3 minutes typing in your card, your delivery address. But the new way with the Otavio's app now took just 15 seconds to download and then would have a customer's order preferences already saved, plus features which are so important to young people, like one-click ordering, Apple and Google Pay integration, live driver tracking, and integrated rewards points. At first, I didn't think this was going to work, for her restaurant in particular, because her customer base was super old. In fact, we only built this branded app builder for restaurants because we kept hearing from Antoinette and a few other customers how much they wanted it. But the whole time I was thinking to myself, will people really download an app to order from a mom and pop, single location Italian restaurant? Probably not, but I could not have been more wrong. Within 30 days, 50% of her total takeout volume was going through her app. We're talking tens of thousands of dollars per month, and her phone lines themselves being freed up because people were ordering from the app instead of calling in. Not only that, but Antoinette was getting dozens of new customers per month due to another strategy we're going to discuss in this video. And those new customers were especially using the app. If you look up Otavio's Italian Restaurant in the App Store, you can see the exact app Antoinette built using Owner.com and the dozens of 5-star reviews on it from her customer base. Her customers are raving about it, and she tells me they constantly walk in and show her that they have the app and tell her how great it is. Even the elderly ones, she says, the 75-year-olds, the 80-year-olds have downloaded the Otavio's app now. She found that people who downloaded her app ordered at more than 2 times the frequency and had a higher check size because it made ordering so much easier for them and was a constant reminder to order from her anytime they saw the app. There was one other thing that made her app especially great, especially for appealing to young people, which was number 2, giving gamified value, meaning that the ordering experience is designed like a game to give you better value the more you spend and let you earn free food through the rewards program for using it. Just like all of the top restaurant brands in the world, from Domino's to Starbucks to Chick-fil-A, Antoinette knew that to build a really great ordering experience that young people loved, she needed to reward people for consistently ordering from her. So she put a loyalty program into her app that gave people free, low food cost items every 2 to 3 orders to thank them for ordering directly from her. This was especially huge for young people because let's face it, young people tend to have way less money than older people, and as a result, need to feel like they're getting better value for the money they do spend. Which, by the way, pro tip, the most successful restaurant loyalty programs I've seen are set up to avoid the high food cost items like meat-based entrees and instead reward people with the appetizers, beverages, and desserts that have a low food cost. These are still perceived as great value for the customer, even if they have a quietly low food cost, because those mozzarella sticks might be $9 on the menu, but have a food cost in reality of under $1. So they cost the restaurant very little to make that customer feel rewarded, like they're getting great value. The points-based reward system in Antoinette's ordering app and website are perfect for this because they're set up this way. As you're adding items to your cart, they tell you how many loyalty points you're earning for those items. Even when it upsells items to you, it says you're saving $7 on this order, earning 545 points. Add more to save more. We're showing people that the more money they spend, the better value that they get. This helped increase her average check size by over 10% and has people ordering from her app like mad. She's gotten dozens of 5-star reviews already, praising the app. Many of them are thanking her for this loyalty program, and hundreds of them have it installed. The best part is that she uses the gamified value in her marketing, meaning that she has her loyalty points integrated with her email marketing campaign through Owner.com. And it sends out emails reminding people that have ordered, hey, you have a free appetizer with us, and your loyalty points last 90 days. Order now to redeem your free dish with that next order. Not only that, but having her own app lets her send push notifications to customers, which are even more effective than email because they have over 10 times the opt-in rate as email and 5 times the open rate. But it turns out that all of these things won't work nearly as well for getting more young customers unless you have the third part of the strategy down, which is number 3, making the website COOL. Cool. And I'm not referring to the definition of cool meaning trendy or hip, because Otavio's online brand isn't trendy and it isn't hip, but it is extremely good at attracting new customers, especially young ones. The acronym stands for Conversion Optimized on Load, meaning that when the website loads, it's perfectly optimized to turn website visitors into new customers. We've tested it thousands of times to get it that way. First, it needs to have design that feels modern and trustworthy to interact with. It needs to feel like the restaurant really has its stuff
put together and is impressive. Animations, delicious looking galleries of the food, ease of use, and a logical structure. When young people first visit a restaurant's website, they're judging it hardcore for this. They're asking themselves, does this look like a good restaurant?
Is this a place I would like? Is it popular? Does it look like a mediocre restaurant website from 2012 that the owners don't really care about?
Antoinette's old website wasn't at all impressive to people. It was decent, it linked to the menu, it had her logo, but it ultimately looked old and unimpressive to people in her community. That's why she used the proven website formula to level it up that I'm about to share with you. And right off the bat, it went from this website that looked like it came from 2012 and was mediocre and didn't properly show off her brand to this website, which has modern design and best practices built in for digital marketing and makes her brand look really polished. Before, she was converting just 2% of her website visitors into new customers. Now, she's consistently converting over 10%, which means that 5 times the amount of website visitors are converting into paying customers. I see time and time again the same recipe for high converting restaurant websites work. The first section gives a summary of the type of restaurant and it shows off the delicious food and ambiance to give people a visual sense of the restaurant. As you can see here, this is exactly what Antoinette did. You see her first section says, our family's recipes from Italy brought to Lakeside, with pictures of her most popular dishes. It's a perfect summary. Then the next section should be a menu preview with calls to action. From there, she has this interactable menu preview, which shows you her most popular dishes, gets your mouth watering, and makes it dead simple to browse through her online ordering menu and click into the ordering experience. So more people do. Her next section is for educating the customers about why to order directly from her online instead of DoorDash or Uber Eats. This is important because if customers don't know what's in it for them to order directly from the restaurant, can we really expect them to do it instead of the apps, which have spent billions of dollars marketing to them? It's not enough for us to just say, please order from our website to support our restaurant. As you can see, she says, order directly from our website or app to save money and fees, get faster service, earn free food via our rewards program, and to support local business. Immediately under that, she has an animated review section where her website is showing off many of the positive things that customers have said. This is one of the most important sections for young people, especially because we grew up with social media and reviews on everything. So we especially factor it into our decisions about which business to order from.
Next, I'll show you the 7 strategies you should be implementing to kickstart your sales on a slow day, like promoting direct catering, launching app push notifications, and more.
We all know there are a few days in the week in the restaurant business where the sales slow down and the restaurant is empty. Our data across thousands of restaurants show that Mondays and Tuesdays, then followed by Wednesdays, tend to be slowest across concepts. But it doesn't have to be that way. There are some restaurants who turn these slow days into strong days using a few smart strategies. In addition to sharing ideas, I'll share real numbers from real restaurants who have used them. For full transparency, the reason I know these numbers is because many of the restaurants we're going to be talking about use my company Owner.com to manage their restaurant's website and online marketing, so I have full access to their numbers. But this video is not an Owner.com commercial, and all of the numbers I share with you are achievable even without using our software. So let's dive into the 7 best ways to increase restaurant sales on slow days. Way number 1 is promoting direct catering business. We all know that catering can be a powerful sales driver for the restaurant. The numbers show that it's not just a sales driver, but that the food sold in catering orders is twice as profitable for the restaurant as the equivalent food sold in single orders. The reason is that catering saves a lot in labor costs because preparing these bulk orders is significantly easier and less time intensive than preparing individual orders. It can be especially powerful on slow days because 65% of all catering orders are corporate catering orders, and the busiest days for corporations ordering catering are Mondays and Tuesdays, which coincide with when the rest of the restaurant slows down. So how do we promote our catering business and drive sales on these slower days? We can either rely on Easy Cater, which is what most restaurants do, and that takes 30% plus of every transaction from us, in addition to all of the customer data. Or we can get great at promoting our own direct catering business. My friend Mike Kozlak is the perfect example of this. He's been in the restaurant business since he was a teenager, and he quickly realized just how much money there was in the catering business. He now owns 7 top performing restaurant concepts, including Union Pizza and Hummus Factory
factory in Los Angeles, and he absolutely crushes it in catering compared to most restaurants. Here's how he does it. What he's done is he's created systems and technology around promoting his catering business. And now his 7 locations do over $50,000 a month in catering business alone. What he does has 2 parts to it, technology and promotion. On the technology side, he's built a really strong online catering system on his website that enables people to order directly from him. It includes features like per person ordering so that you can actually order based on head count, and delivery, just like ezCater, by integrating with the third-party delivery networks. Offering the ability to order with headcount quantities and to get the catering orders delivered through your website is key to driving those orders going directly to you. On the promotion side, this is where things get really interesting. He first has his managers at all of the stores go to the local corporations during the slower hours and offer the secretaries that are also in charge of catering specials. He knows ezCater bribes the office administrators, so he does similar. He offers those administrators free sample orders and gift cards personally. He brings them food to get them to become advocates for his brand. And then he tells them, if you log in and place the order on my website, with your account, we'll give you loyalty points towards more free food using our loyalty system. It's this combination where he has a really strong website and a really strong incentive for the administrators to order from that website that leads to all these relationships being formed and gets the company to order through his system every time. Second, the website system he uses, my company Owner.com, has strategically set up dishes on his website that rank now #1 on Google for terms like large tray of salad in Manhattan Beach and dozens of other terms that people searching for catering might be searching for. He comes up at the top because his website is search engine optimized for catering specifically. It works really well because he has created a system that is now easier to order from him on his website and more rewarding for the decision makers on catering orders. The story of Mike reminds me of another story and another way to increase restaurant sales on slow days, which brings us to slow day specials for Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. The best example that I've seen of this is from my friend Omar, the owner of Talkin' Tacos. Like many restaurants, initially, he struggled with the start of the week. Mondays and Tuesdays being way slower than the rest of the week, even though he's having to pay utilities and labor costs all the same on those days. So what he did was he created a promotion that runs every Tuesday, Taco Tuesday. On Taco Tuesdays, they offer 20% off taco dishes between the slowest hours especially. And every Tuesday, they post on social media about it and send an email about it telling people, hey, it's Taco Tuesday, time to get your taco fix, and similar messaging. In the time that they've been using our platform with the Taco Tuesday promotion, I've seen them increase the volume of their average Tuesday by over $1,500 per day using this strategy. The other brilliant thing is that the dish they selected, tacos, are famously high margin and low food cost. So even when they offer 20% off on Taco Tuesday, their margins are huge and they're making a lot of money on those orders. You can do the same in your restaurant by picking a menu item that is popular to create a special around on their slower days. I've seen Wine Wednesdays work for an American restaurant and Mozzarella Mondays work for a pizzeria and similar. The reason it works is that it gives the guest a good reason to engage with the restaurant on those slower days, that they remember and that feels relevant and scarce. They don't want to miss out on that good deal, and an association has formed with that day of the week and taking advantage of that offer. But how do they get the word out about specials on those days? That brings us to the next way to increase sales on slower days. Way number 3, email automations to promote specials on those days. No restaurant owner has time to constantly be fiddling around with MailChimp, figuring out what to say and how to say it and what pictures to use and how to make it feel fresh and relevant to the guest. So the key is automating it to happen completely on autopilot. What Omar from Talkin' Tacos did, he has an email automation every Tuesday afternoon that reminds people, hey, it's Taco Tuesday, with a fresh email showing them the dishes that are relevant under that special, which he has like 7 different types of tacos on his menu. It lists them out, tells people, hey, it's Taco Tuesday, 20% off your order, and then tells them how much they could save by ordering directly from his website, where the Taco Tuesday promotion is valid. It's not valid on DoorDash or Uber Eats, and how much they could save in third-party fees just from the act of ordering through his website. And this simple process of reminding people automatically on Tuesdays increases sales by over $500 every Tuesday like clockwork in a way that is 100% measurable, because people are busy and can forget these things without the reminder. Again, they do it automatically using Owner.com, which allows restaurant owners to set up marketing automations based on guest ordering behavior. They also have it integrated to their online ordering system, so that if people have ordered from that restaurant in the past, they can click one button to order all of their favorite dishes again. It's super easy. They have it integrated to one more place, in fact, their app, which brings us to the next strategy for filling up slow days. Strategy number 4, using app push notification automations to promote specials on those days. The reason they're so powerful is that push notifications can be even more effective than email because of the crazy engagement statistics. 50% of push notifications are seen within 10 minutes of sending them, and they have a 5 times higher click-through rate than emails on average. So in addition to sending out an email, their app push notifications remind people of the Taco Tuesday special, and this adds another $500 per Tuesday with all of their regulars that have their app installed. The really great thing about having the push notifications happening is that when people click on the app, they're already signed in, and just like with the web ordering integration we talked about, all of their past orders are stored. They can be through the checkout process in a matter of 30 seconds. All they have to do is click reorder, and seconds later, their food will be getting made to their preferences. Another brilliant thing I've seen restaurants do is text message blasts, which brings us to text message online ordering blasts. Timmery Shibley, the owner of Doodah Diner in Wichita, Kansas, is the perfect example of text message blasts working, because she uses it to drive $1,000 in additional online sales on a slower day every week. What she does is use her text message marketing setup at Owner.com to go through her list of regular customers and offer them a free delivery special for ordering that day. That simple message is so effective because she gives people a clear reason that is tied to a day, so it's limited time, and those people that are opted into her text message list already are huge fans of her restaurant, so that reminder is all they need. And the key to making this super profitable is she built in a delivery minimum to that free delivery offer. So now we've covered a few that are technology and ordering related. Let's talk about some that are more physical restaurant related. Number 6, live music nights on slow days. My friend Juliana built up a following on Mondays, which is a super slow day, especially for Mexican restaurants, by doing Mariachi Mondays, where she brings in a local mariachi band to play at her Mexican restaurant Somos Oaxaca on those days. Customers love it because it gives them a unique and vibrant dining experience that, by the way, they all post on Instagram because it's so unusual. What's brilliant about this is that some talented musicians will perform just for tips and the opportunity to use your dining room as their stage, especially in a city like Los Angeles or other major cities. So there's no cost to bringing in the entertainment. It just requires creativity and partnering with these local musicians. This one tends to work better if you're based in an area with a lot of talented but unknown musicians who are eager for the opportunity to perform their art. At that point, it becomes a win-win. Them creating a better atmosphere for your restaurant and you giving them a stage to perform with a built-in audience. The other massive benefit is that people can hear the mariachi music from the curb and the street as they're driving by, and they see the band in the window. So it helps attract new customers and get interest from the local community because it seems like her restaurant is so lively even on slower days like Mondays. What she does in addition to this is she constantly posts about it on Facebook and Instagram, and she has an automated email that goes out on Sundays to remind people of Mariachi Monday coming up. This is how she built her Mondays from being literally less than $100 at the beginning to now consistently over $300 every day out of her very small footprint. That brings us to the last way I've seen work great to fill up slow days, which is number 7, game nights. This one might seem similar to the live music strategy because they're both technically events, but it's actually very different. Live music is great for providing families and friends a lively atmosphere to catch up with, but game nights are actually more social for people in a community who want to get to know each other while enjoying your delicious food. I saw this in action with Nick Fosberg, the owner of Fozzie's Bar and Grill, who does not use Owner, but posted about this one, and I wanted to share it because it seemed so clever, where he created a custom bingo deck for his community and then ran a bunch of short games at his bar. He credited it with building up his extremely robust Tuesday business now. There's lots of companies online that allow you to create your own bingo cards, and you can theme it to something that makes sense for your restaurant community. What's great about this is that there are a lot of people, especially on Mondays and Tuesdays, who are looking for social and engaging stuff to do on otherwise dead nights. And hosting fun social games where they can also enjoy your food and play bingo and get to know people in the community is the perfect way to appeal to that group of people while also driving new business in your restaurant. Anyway, that's all for this video, but if you enjoyed this video, you'll also love the video I made on the best strategy I've seen for restaurants getting new customers, SEO on Google. Click to the right of me now to check out that video where I share exactly how to SEO optimize your restaurant, as well as a bunch of real numbers in real restaurants that have done it. Hope to see you around here soon. If you enjoyed this video, also click the subscribe button down below. It'll give you notification for free anytime I post a new breakdown on a restaurant marketing strategy or restaurant growth techniques that I've seen working. And again, hope to see you around this channel soon.